Hi, welcome back to Spirit Lounge. I hope you guys are doing really well and having a good weekend. So today's video is going to be on trying to, put my answer to hopefully more than one question. Depends how long I take answering the first question. It's two questions, actually more than two questions, that a close friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, gave me just after Christmas. And I promised I would provide my answer on a video, and I want to try to do that today, at least this video and maybe some others to answer them. So what are the questions? Well, the first one, and this is not rehearsed, I never rehearse these videos, just so everybody knows that I pretty much turn the camera on, know the subject I'm going to talk about, and I just talk about it. So this is going to be the same for these questions. First one is, does what the brain think have an impact on the spirit, and how does that relate to free will? Well, for those who have watched these videos will kind of understand the underlying message that I've placed here. And I know where these questions and the orientation where these questions have come from, so I kind of understand why this question is worded as it is. What if when a person comes into or attempts to looks to understand the esoteric, metaphysical, and the unseen aspects of our divine existence, which is only our infinite spirit that resides within, it's difficult for those of us who come at this from mind, from intellectualism, from science, to disengage the mind from spiritual expansion. Spiritual expansion is all centered in within. It's the internal, it's when we go within, and within is where the spirit lay, with dimly lit flame, which we are there to try to ignite into inferno of knowing and spiritual movement forward. That internal moving inward, it goes beyond mindfulness. You touch it when you meditate, you touch it when you open yourself up to all the things that are not of mind. Anyone who's actually practiced any of this or has believes in something greater than themselves, prays, meditates, sits still, does religious study, whatever it might be, will understand what I'm saying here. That the movement towards the inner state and to understand the unseen aspects of our divine nature and what this universe is truly here for, and why we enter it, purpose, karma, all of these things, the universal law. This is all within an energetic state of knowing from the spirit. The internal spirit is all that we are. The energetic consciousness, or whatever you wish to call it, the soul, is really all that we are. It is what is. It's the isness of everything, is simply energy, awareness, state, presence, grace. It's our uniqueness of just being in everything, everywhere, all of the time. It's energy. And to touch that, we have to disengage the mind to enter into the place where we can reconnect with what sits inside, waits for us to reconnect. not to connect, to reconnect. As we've discussed in previous videos about how that disconnection actually happens. But to connect to it is we have to switch off the mind. And move away from mind and allow ourselves with faith and trust to go within. It does actually require us to have the courage, as in my video, Lest We Forget, to at least be open to the awareness that there's something greater than us, that there is a source from which we all emanate and which everything emanates. The isness, the all that is, the all that we are, whatever we wish to call it. And that movement towards the spirit is it's not of the mind. So this question, it says, does what the brain think have an impact on the spirit? What the brain has, what we think in our minds has absolutely no connection to spirit, because the brain isn't the source of our infinite awareness. It's the soul, it's the spirit that sits within us, and that's what spiritual practice, all practice outside of the mind, tries to lead us to. And this is why it's difficult in this question. It's coming from a mind-centered view on what actually can only be connected to when you switch off the mind. It's a difficult thing to explain because the mind is, from a spiritual practice, the mind is actually subordinate to the spirit and the heart. The trinity of the mind, the spirit and the heart is a trinity. But the governance of that, where it leads and where it will take us, is driven by our spirit, by our inner self, the silent self. You can't put your name on. You can't you can't measure it. It just exists. It just is. You know you're connecting to it because there's joy and grace that rises from within, and the energetic book that I keep referring to in all of my videos is actually energetic information. It's felt knowing. It's felt information that comes from within but actually comes from without, because it's all the same thing. But you can only access that when you switch the mind off and allow a greater awareness of grace to come out from within you, from within us, all of us. And that's how we connect to the silent, unseen, the immeasurable, the things you can't touch, taste, hear, measure. Those are the things that are the hidden aspects of our true reality. You can't measure those, and they cannot be thought about through mind. The mind processes and helps us understand what we receive through the energetic trinity of the spirit, the heart, and the mind. It all comes through the hidden space, the place that we connect to within, through meditation, through prayer, through silence. It goes beyond mindfulness. It goes way beyond just being present in our space. Mindfulness is a step towards that. But mindfulness isn't the conduit. It's a stepping stone to everything else. Like religion is a stepping stone to many other, to greater awareness, as long as we move away from it. It has its purpose, like everything else does. So when it says, does what the brain think have an impact on the spirit? My answer is no. It doesn't. But the brain helps us understand, the mind helps us understand what we receive, helps us process what we receive when we connect to the unseen aspects of ourselves, which is actually connected to everything. This universe and beyond, true home, true grace, true knowing. Knowing is energy. When we open into our spirits, which is infinite energy of everything, everywhere, it is the all that we are. It opens up our energetic state aligns our heart and our spirit together for us to receive things from, it's not even a place, it's just from what is. It's hard to describe because there is no place where source or our origin is, because it's in everything. When we open up the book within us, we're opening up to everything. And when it's received through energetic vibration and frequency, which we feel. That feeling, energetic energy, frequency is actually information which is felt. It's felt. Knowing is felt. So the things I talk about on my videos, and others do on theirs, is actually felt energetic information, and none of it is coming through my mind. All of it comes from in here. It's felt information from connectedness that is constantly evolving and changing, constantly, hopefully, becoming stronger and stronger. It's all about meditation and silencing, opening more and more up to what is, and trust and faith and being guided, being allowed to be guided is important. But that's what is the primary driver. That's what will lead us into this understanding of what the spirit is, what we are, our purpose, what the universe is all about, why we come here many times, why we choose to, what the ultimate aim is, what source is, what we feel, where knowing comes from. All of these things, these many infinite subjects that are just unceasing areas that we wish to discover and discuss, investigate. Because once the book's open, the amount of information that comes through it is never ending. It's impossible for us to know everything. We only have that state when we're not in physical form or in life experience at all, when we're just in that infinite state of everything. When we leave our bodies, we re-enter or rediscover, rather, re-experience what we truly have always been. These bodies are experiences that we have. Human experience is an experience that we have. But the mind thinks doesn't impact the spirit, because the spirit is infinite and all eternal and everything, and the mind is simply a vessel in this body. It is of limited conception. It only knows what we give it. The infinite spirit knows everything because it is everything. And from that everything that comes through our spirits and our heart, our alignment to love and feeling and emotion, is how we receive the knowledge that we all seek, the understanding of ourselves, of this universe out there. Our purpose and all that is comes through our spirit and combined with our heart, and is processed by the mind. It's not the other way around. The spirit doesn't receive from the mind, because the spirit is the center of all that is. The mind is an organ of an intellectual base, or where we process right and left brain thinking in the body, in this physical world. It is not the origin of all that is. It's just the receiver through which we process and helps us understand what we receive from within. So that's my answer to that question. I understand where it comes from, because anyone who's mind-centered, and my dear friend is a little bit like that, will ask this question, because I've heard it before, and it's a good question to. I like these questions because they challenge us to help us explain how anyone who creates videos like this, who puts out their ideas, their feeling, their knowing out there for those who will open to listen, consider it, because that's all these videos are. Remember, they're just there are my feelings, they're my own perceptions and understanding for what I receive and what I connect to. Other people connect to different things and receive different things. It's up to each of us to discern what resonates with us. My advice is always never dismiss anything that anyone says out there within this realm of discovery, no matter how fantastic it may seem. Because in my experience, I've put things to the side that were many years ago felt a little bit too woo-woo, if you like. But they've all come around to be true, many of them, almost all of them. Because my own perception has increased and awareness has come in, and I've remembered that I heard something before that matched the information that I was receiving or coming into my awareness at that time. So don't dismiss anything. We don't have to accept anything now. Just remember that we're never going to know. We will never be the focus of all knowing in life. It's just not possible. We're only a fractal of our spirit exists in this. The full force of our core frequency, our soul, our spirit, cannot be encompassed in a physical body. This crude, this human vessel, human vehicle that we're in, or any vessel out there in the universe, it can't. It's just infinite. You can't have the totality of the whole and the force of it in the body, like in any body. But a fractal of it experiences many forms, concurrently or otherwise. So the spirit's the driver to knowing. The partnership with the heart and its trinity with the mind, which helps us process, helps us understand what is being received from within. It is not the mind or what the mind thinks in this human world, in this physical world, that determines anything in the spirit. The spirit is all that is. It's everything. Everything seen, unseen, can never be, will be, has been, will never be. Every timeline, every piece of karma, every aspect of universal law, because it is source itself. The mind is not that. So I hope that answers the question. I spent a little bit more than 15 minutes on that one, so I'll probably have another video on the other questions. And they're very interesting ones, so I thank you so much for giving me that. You know who you are. Please like and subscribe and share. I hope this video has helped, and there's more to come. So have a great weekend and the rest of the week, whatever you've got planned. And I'll speak to you all again soon. Thank you so much. Love to you all. Thanks. Bye bye.